Hello everyone, good evening, how are you all? So yes, welcome back again at Exampur. Today we will be discussing human respiratory and excretory system. Not only for the humans, we will be discussing about some of the animals as well, because the questions is actually asked in such a manner in which we can include some of the birds, we can include some of the aquatic animals. So all these questions plays a significant role in the examination. So let's see who all we have here. So we have Sarika here. Hello Sarika, good evening. So yes, we are starting with our session. This session is for the Ssc Cgl examination, in which we will be discussing theoretical section along with the questions. So let's start. First of all, when I'm talking about respiration, what is it? See, if I talk about respiration, this means we are talking about the exchange of gases. There are several gases, isn't it? If I talk about several gases, they include what? Here we have oxygen, we have carbon dioxide. Actually, when we take in the air, that is when we inhale, we have several gases. There carbon dioxide is there nitrogen is there is oxygen, water vapor. There are a lot of gases. Now, if I talk about those gases, there must be some percentage, isn't it? Now, let's talk about the percentage of oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen. The question which is asked exactly is, which is that particular gas which when we inhale and exhale has the exact same percentage? So these type of questions are asked. I'll tell you about that, but before that, let's understand respiration. So it is the process of exchange of gases from the atmosphere. Fine. Now, if I'm talking about the exchange of gases, which one? We were talking about oxygen and carbon dioxide, isn't it? So let's have a look. The process of exchange of oxygen from the atmosphere and carbon dioxide produced by the cells is called breathing. So this is exactly breathing. In short, I'll say taking in of gases, releasing out of the gases with some percentage, where if I talk about the same percentage, the correct answer would be of nitrogen. So as already discussed, there are several gases. There would be oxygen, there would be carbon dioxide, several gases are there. Now, in this composition, when we inhale and exhale out, only nitrogen is the one which is same. It has the same composition. So Ram has joined us. Hello Ram, how are you? So yes, this was actually breathing, that is taking in of the gases and releasing out of the gases. Now just have a look at this image. This is exactly lungs. Now this lungs must be having some membrane, correct? So you must remember the membranes which are present here are plural. They are plural. So this actually is important one. Why? Because it is already asked in the examination and it can be asked again. So please remember, if I talk about the membrane that is enclosing the lungs, so I guess you are aware of the answer. Let's see who can give this answer. There are options A, B, C, D. Is it plural? Is it mucus? Is it meninges? Or is it none of the above? So can you answer this? I've just told you about this. And this question is already asked in many of the examinations. So I'll be continuing the lecture in the same manner. We'll be understanding the facts. We'll be having questions from the previous year which were asked, and after understanding whole of the theory, we'll again have previous year's question answers discussion. So yes, what is the answer? When we are talking about the membrane that is enclosing lungs, so it's very obvious the correct answer is going to be a plural. So we have already written there, it is plural. So yes, this is the membrane actually. Next, if I talk about respiratory organs, we have this clarity that here we are talking about the taking in of the oxygen and releasing out of the carbon dioxide. But please try to understand, this is only for the clarity purpose. We are talking about taking in of the oxygen and releasing out of the carbon dioxide. It doesn't mean that other gases are not there. Other gases are also there, but oxygen and carbon dioxide are playing a significant role. So Happy has joined us. Hello Happy, good evening. So when you have a look at this diagram, just have a look. There's a heart, there are lungs, but inside lungs also there are several other things which are actually helping you out in this process. Now, there's a reason how I'm able to speak, how I'm able to get that energy, how you are able to get the energy. Here, actually this process plays a significant role. How? When you inhale the air, there are several gases. Oxygen will be there, carbon dioxide will be there. Now that particular oxygen is actually used in your body, where we can discuss about hemoglobin, correct? which is actually helping in the transportation of oxygen. So this transportation of oxygen is done by hemoglobin, but from where you are getting it? You're getting it from this process in which you are breathing in that particular gas. Yes. So here we'll talk about those respiratory organs. First of all, let's discuss about the external nostril. This part, from where you are inhaling. So here, your external nostril connects to the nasal chamber through a nasal passage. Now, what is this nasal chamber? Nasal chamber opens into the pharynx. Now, this term, pharynx, this is very important. Why? Because we have discussed about it in the digestive system. We are again discussing about it here in this respiratory system. Remember, this pharynx is actually common in the digestive system also and respiratory system also. That's why it is written. Nasal chamber opens into the pharynx, which is the part of common food and air passage. So we can say that since it is common part of the food and the air passage, so it is also there in the digestive system, and obviously it is there in the respiratory system as well. Now, if I'll move forward, there's a pharynx part which we have already discussed. So it enters the trachea through larynx region. Now, what is larynx? Larynx is cartilaginous box. Now, you must be wondering, sir, what is this cartilaginous box? Cartilaginous box means we are talking about this structure of larynx, which is made up of cartilage. So this is important. Please remember. So it is a cartilaginous box that aids in the creation of sound. Now you must be wondering, sir, what is this aids? Aids means it is helping in the creation of sound. So it helps in the creation of sound. So and hence we can say that it is known as sound box. Whenever someone asks you about this sound box, please remember that is your larynx. Okay. So yes, moving forward now. Whenever we swallow food, so while swallowing, the glottis is covered with a thin elastic flap of cartilage which is known as epiglottis. Now, what this epiglottis is exactly doing? We have seen some of the TV ads, correct? We have seen that ad in which there's a line, this particular Ssc Cgl lo, khich khich dur karo. In this particular ad, we have seen there's a green like structure. I don't know what is it. Is it insect or what is it? It actually holds the throat and stands over there, correct? But just after taking that particular toffee, what happens? It actually goes out. From that particular ad, we have seen there are two holes which are present over there. Whenever you'll open your mouth like this, you'll get two holes. That means here one hole is exactly for what? For the food passage and one is for the air passage. So this epiglottis part is actually taking care of that your food doesn't enter into your lungs. Fine. So this is very, very important, because if it will not be there, your food can go to any other location. It must have never happened with any of you. Whenever you are eating dosa, chow mein, whatever you are eating, it goes into your stomach. It never enters into your air pipe or windpipe. Correct? Why? Because of the presence of this epiglottis. So remember, epiglottis, they are preventing your food from entering the larynx. Now, if I talk about trachea, what is it? If I talk about this trachea, trachea is also known as windpipe. Remember, windpipe and trachea are one and the same thing. So it is a straight tube that extends to the center of the thoracic cavity, and it divides further into two parts where we'll be having several branches where we'll discuss about bronchioles. So yes, it divides into left and right main bronchus at the level of fifth thoracic vertebrae. Now there's a question, the windpipe is also called what? Now this is a simple one, but it is asked in the examination. Let's see who can answer this. If I'm talking about windpipe, so I already told you, when you're eating food, there are two actually holes that are opened, correct? Now this epiglottis will see if you are eating food that your food should not enter into the wrong location. That is, your food should not enter into your windpipe or into your trachea, correct? We have discussed that. So that's the answer. The windpipe is also known as trachea. So here option number A will be the correct answer. So Ram, Sarika, Happy, I guess this one is clear to you all. Next, we were talking about branches. Just have a look. This is the windpipe, which is actually divided into two parts. Now here, yeah Ram, you were correct, totally correct. So yes, it was divided into two parts, and these are the bronchioles. So each bronchiole are divided several times to form a secondary and tertiary bronchi and bronchioles, which eventually leads to a very thin terminal bronchioles. Now there's one more thing that is known as alveoli. Remember this part, Ram? There's a part that is known as alveoli. Remember, this is the location where gaseous exchange takes place. Where gaseous exchange takes place, and this is the important one. It is asked in the examination. Remember this, fine. So yes, if I'll talk about respiratory organs, sorry. So I'll talk about this part. So incomplete cartilaginous ring supports the tracheae, primary, secondary and tertiary bronchi and initial bronchioles. And if I'll talk about that alveoli, remember that is the location of the gaseous exchange. Now, each terminal bronchi produces a number of alveoli which are very thin, irregularly walled and vascularized bag-like structures. Now, there's a question, the gaseous exchange takes place in what? So, these are the four options. Waiting for your answer. Till then, I'll have water. Yes, waiting for the answer from everyone. Yes, so Ram has already given the answer and that's correct. So yes, if I talk about the gaseous exchange, so it actually takes place in the alveoli. So option number A is going to be the correct answer. Absolutely correct, Ram. Awesome. Now, the gaseous exchange in alveoli is a type of what? See, whenever we talk about gaseous exchange, there must be some sort of, if I'll talk about the transportation, so some sort of transportation would be there, correct? So is it simple diffusion? Is it osmosis? Is it active transport or is it passive transport? So please remember, whenever we are talking about this gaseous exchange in the alveoli, here we will talk about simple diffusion. So hence, option number A would be correct in this case. And remember, we are talking or discussing all the questions which were previously asked. So these questions are very, very important as these questions keep on repeating. So do not forget these terms. So here, when we are talking about simple diffusion, so this gaseous exchange in the alveoli is actually an example of simple diffusion. Ram, this time, sorry for that, but option number A would be correct. But it's good that you have attempted. Whenever we attempt here, this gives us surety that in the examination we are going to give the correct answer. So yes, it's good that you have attempted it. Now talking about the mechanism of respiration, we understood. When we're talking about this lungs part, here we can have a look. This is the diaphragm, because of which lungs are contracting and expanding. This is the part where we have pleural muscles. Now, when we talk about inspiration, this means we are pulling in the oxygen. That is, we are taking in the, actually we are taking in all the gases, that is air. But we talk about oxygen and carbon dioxide basically. So yes, when atmospheric air is pulled in, it is inspiration, and when it is released out, this is known as expiration. Now, movement of air in and out of the lungs is caused by creating a pressure gradient between the lungs and the atmosphere. And who is helping in that? Here, diaphragm is actually playing that significant role in moving up and down. So yes, now, if I talk about the inspiration, it occurs when pressure inside the lungs is less than the atmospheric pressure, or we can say that there is a negative pressure in the lungs in relation to the atmospheric pressure. Now, talking about the expiration, it takes place when intrapulmonary pressure is higher than the atmospheric pressure. It is actually just opposite to each other. So yes, this is about expiration. Now, as I was talking about diaphragm, so diaphragm is a specialized set of muscles. Here, we can talk about its usage. It is helping in the creation of such gradients. If such gradients would not be there, your air coming in your body and getting out of the body will not be possible. So that particular part in which we're talking about taking in of the air and releasing out the air, here diaphragm is playing a very, very important role. So yes, how? Because it is creating the gradients. So inspiration begins with the contraction of the diaphragm, which increases the volume of thoracic chamber in the anterior posterior axis. Now, if I talk about the inspiration part, so it's very obvious that here what is going to happen? Here contraction of the diaphragm will be there, because of which there will be the increase in the thoracic cavity. Now, thoracic chamber, sorry. Now, most of the carbon dioxide produced in the tissues is transported to the lungs as what? Now, this is the question. This is the question which is again from the previous year examination. Remember, whenever we are talking about this CO2, that is carbon dioxide, which is produced in the tissues, it is when transported to the lungs, it is transported in the form of bicarbonates. It is actually transported in the form of bicarbonates. So here option number A will be correct, and everyone is requested to kindly interact in the session so that I can go in the depth according to you all. Whatever doubt is there we are going to clear each and everything. But we need to have interaction so that I can make the connectivity with you, and accordingly we can go in more depth for different examples, different more questions. From the question also we can take out more questions. Fine. So yes, Ram, you are absolutely correct. The answer would be bicarbonates over here. Next, dash is a part of brain that regulates the respiratory process. Now we discussed about the brain, right? When we discussed about nervous system. There, when we were discussing about cerebellum, we remember bell. Bell term was related to balance. Remember? Bell term was related to balance. So here, so yes, I guess I am audible now. I was talking about the example of Sudesh here. So sorry for that. There was some issue with the mic. it's it's okay now. So yes, we are talking about this particular application. So you're having all those things. Now how you can get it? Just go to the Play Store, type example over there, click on the install button, click on the open part, go with the registration and start using it. And yes, we have launched the UP PT Master Test Series at just ₹1. You have to use the code PT99, where at ₹1 only you can use this test series, where you will be getting 10 full length test series, section test for every test, and live discussion of the full length test. Yeah, so let's have a discussion on the question now. Okay, Ram, fine. So there's a question. Dash is located between the two pleural sacs and in the central compartment of the thoracic cavity. Let's see who will give this answer. And remember, we are discussing all the questions which were previously asked. So these are very important. These are very important. Waiting for the comments, everyone. Dash is located between two pleural sacs and is the central compartment of the thoracic cavity. We have just discussed about it. Because of this only we are able to breathe in and breathe out. Because of this only respiration is possible. And I'll give you one more hint. This is creating the gradient. Remember? We're discussing about the negative and the positive one. So yes, if I talk about this question, Sudesh Ram, I'm waiting for your answer so that I can move forward now. Waiting for the answer. Okay, so I'll tell you. Here, if I'll talk about the diaphragm, diaphragm is the one, what it is doing, it is actually creating the gradients. Fine. Now, if I talk about this particular mediastinum, here, this is going to be the correct answer. So yes, option number A is going to be the correct answer because this is located between the two pleural sacs and is in the central compartment of the thoracic cavity. Now, if I talk about this diaphragm, it was doing what? It was creating the gradients because of which you were breathing and breathing out. And these things are the one which are present in your body and because of which you are breathing in, correct? And even breathing out. Yes, next is dash helps in filtering and keeping the mucus and dirt away from our lungs. Now, if I talk about this part, so it is cilia. It is cilia which is helping in filtering and keeping the mucus and dirt away from our lungs. So here option number A is going to be the correct answer. Talking about next one, dash is the common passage for food and air. Now this is very important one. Why? Because it is asked in the examination. Many of the examinations are there in which this same question is asked. Please remember, whenever we are talking about the common passage, this is there in the digestion part. Apart from that, it is also there in the respiration part. So yes, it's very obvious it is there in the neck part. So here, what is the option? We have pharynx over here, epiglottis, glottis and bronchi. We remember, epiglottis was the one. What was this epiglottis doing? Epiglottis was the one which was actually seeing that there are two holes and this one is the windpipe, this one is the food pipe. So whenever you are taking in the food, your food doesn't enter into the windpipe. True? So this was the epiglottis. Similarly, if I talk about the bronchi, what were they? If I draw the structure, this was the trachea. It was divided into two parts, correct? But if I'll move with the pharynx, so pharynx would be the correct option, which is actually the common between two, which is common in both. Thank you, Tarun, for the same. Thank you. So yes, pharynx is the correct answer. Next, so we have discussed about this application. It is the awesome application where you will be getting all the important things, including the job alerts, then test series. Apart from that, you are having the daily current affairs. You can just go to the you can just go to the Play Store and download this application. Yes, moving forward to the other questions. Cockroach cannot survive in water because its respiratory organ is dash. So what is the respiratory organ of this cockroach? Because of which it is unable to survive in the water. So is it gill, is it trachea, is it book lung or is it pulmonary sac? Everyone waiting for the answer. Sudesh, Ram, everyone, can you answer this? If I'm talking about the cockroach, they are unable to survive in the water because its respiratory organ is dash. So what is it? Is it gill? Is it trachea? Is it book lung? Is it pulmonary sac? So see, if I talk about these gills, if gills would be present, it would be easier to survive in the water, correct? So obviously gill is not going to be the correct answer. But for cockroach, remember there's the presence of trachea because of which they cannot survive in the water and hence we'll say that option number B is going to be the correct answer. Next, among the following set of salient features, which set does not exclusively characterize mammals? Now if I talk about these particular options, we must discuss about the characteristics of mammals. We as a mammal have what? We have hairs on our body. Apart from that, we have mammary glands, correct? Then we have diaphodonts. We are diaphodonts. That means what? We are having two set of teeth. So that means these things are present over here. So this is correct. That is presence of sweat, hair and skin. All these things are there. But what is question asking? Question is asking among the following set of features, which set does not exclusively characterize mammals? So according to the question, this would not be the correct answer. Then presence of mammary glands, sweat glands and diaphragm. Obviously, this is also true for us. Then the option says absence of mammary glands, sweat glands and diaphragm. Obviously, according to the question, this would be correct because this is not true according to our body, according to the mammals. We have mammary glands, we have sweat glands, we have diaphragm. We have just discussed diaphragm, which was acting as a gradient. Remember, it is helping in the movement of the lungs because of which we are able to breathe in and breathe out. Remember all those things? So yes, Ishan, that is actually true according to our characteristic. But question is regarding which set is not characteristics of mammals. That's why option number C will be correct. Please do not create this. Please do not click on the wrong answer. So yes, moving forward. The transportation of oxygen by the blood takes place with the help of what? So is it erythrocyte, thrombocyte, lymphocyte or leukocyte? Hello Abhishek, good evening, how are you? So yes, there's a question the transport of oxygen by the blood takes place with the help of what? Is it erythrocytes? Is it thrombocyte, lymphocyte or leukocytes? So the time you are giving me an answer, let me explain you. When we are talking about blood, there were RBCs. Then there were WBCs. Then there were platelets. Remember all those things? Now, there were some names given to them. We know about those chemical names, true. So when I talk about RBC, these are actually erythrocytes. First thing is this. I am good. I am also good, Abhishek. I am also good. If I talk about platelets, they are thrombocytes, WBC leukocytes. Now the question is, transportation of oxygen by the blood takes place with the help of what? So it takes place with the help of RBC, as we have the presence of hemoglobin here. True. So according to this question, RBC should be the answer or hemoglobin should be the answer. But here they have given this. So this is not wrong. This is actually another name of that. So yes, here erythrocyte, that is option number A, will be correct. Next, on the average, what percent of human body has element of oxygen? Who will answer this? My question is, when we are talking about the percentage of human body that is having the element of oxygen, remember, whatever mass of our body is, from there 61 to 65 percentage, 61 to 65 percentage is actually of oxygen. So just have a look. 61 to 65, it's exactly 65 given over here. So yes, option number A will be correct. That is option number A. Next, respiration process requires what? Is it heat, water, oxygen or sunlight? Waiting for the comments. I guess I'm getting comments quite late. So can you answer this? Waiting for the answer from everyone. Till then I'll have water. Waiting for the comments. Yes, Abhishek. So you have given the answer A. Abhishek, when we are talking about respiration, this means we are talking about the exchange of the gases, correct? When we are talking about the exchange of gases, this means there must be some gas. Yes, now you are correct, absolutely correct. The correct answer is oxygen over here, that is option number C. Next, tobacco smoke is injurious to health because it contains what? We have seen lots of tobacco packets on which there's a announcement that is done by the government. Please do not use this tobacco products because it may create several issues. You would have seen that particular image as well. But on a very serious note, tobacco smoke is injurious to health. Why? Because it will do what? It is going to release CO, that is carbon monoxide. This carbon monoxide will do what? It will mix up with the hemoglobin and create what? Carboxyhemoglobin, which is actually dangerous. Fine. Now, obviously, see, you have given answer nicotine. Nicotine is the part which is there in the tobacco, but it is injurious to health because of what? So it is injurious to the health because of the presence of carbon monoxide. So option number A will be correct. Next, what is accumulated in the muscles after continuous physical exercise as a result of temporary anaerobic respiration that causes muscular fatigue? Now this is from CGL and CPO both. Here, remember, whenever we are talking about any sort of physical exercise, what will happen? Here, lactic acid gets accumulated because of which people feel tired or fatigue. So here, just have a look, is there any option? Yes, option number B is there, that is lactic acid. So remember, whenever anyone is feeling tired, we feel tired because of the presence of this lactic acid. And yes, Abhishek, you are absolutely correct. Apart from Abhishek, who all are there, kindly comment and tell me your name so that I can start interacting with you as well. So yes, option number B is absolutely correct. Next, if I talk about this structure, there's a question for you all. Do you know the color of your urine can actually say about the problems in your body? Now you must be wondering, what? The color of the urine can tell the issues? Yes, they can. If your color of urine is quite like this means your health is very good. If your urine is quite darker, you are in the good condition. If it is more darker, fair. More darker, lightly dehydrated. If it is more darker like this, this means you are dehydrated. If it is more darker, very dehydrated, and at this condition you are severely dehydrated. So the color of urine can actually tell about the issue in our body. Fine. So I'll give you a basic example. During the summer season, if we feel like, okay, this sun is actually creating problem for me, this heat is actually creating problem for me, at that time you can just check the color of your urine. It will be dark yellow, and these are the things via which we can actually tell what's the issue in our body. So yes, now let's start with our topic, that is the excretory system. What is excretion actually? We eat a lot of things. There may be dosa, there may be chow mein, many things are there. But what will happen if I am eating everything but I am not excreting out? There will be several issues in the body. And yes, we may even die. This means what? There are several waste in which I am talking about nitrogenous waste today. I am writing the name. Just have a look. Nitrogenous waste. Just have a look at this word, nitrogenous. Nitrogenous means what? I am talking about those particular waste which are inclusive of nitrogen. Just take the example of urea. Or you can take the example of uric acid. Then you can talk about the ammonia. These are the nitrogenous wastes which are present in our body, and we need to remove them from the body. Now, among us urea, uric acid and ammonia, our body is releasing what? Our body is excreting out what? So can you answer this? Abhishek Files and others, can you answer this? If I am talking about the removal of this nitrogenous waste, will it be urea, will it be uric acid, will it be ammonia? What is going to be the correct answer? See, if I'm talking about our body, please remember ammonia is generated there, but liver is the one which is converting this ammonia into the urea. Ammonia is converted into urea because of the presence of liver. I'll be telling about that also in the later part, but right now please remember our body is actually releasing urea. Fine. So on the basis of the removal, if urea is released, we call those particular animals as ureotelic. If someone is releasing uric acid, we say that this particular organism is uricotelic. If someone is releasing ammonia, we say that that particular person is, or that particular organism is ammonotelic. So let's come back to the point. We'll talk about excretion. It is the essential process in all the living beings. It helps human body to maintain homeostasis and it prevents and it prevents the damage to the body. Obviously, if there would be the presence of those ammonia, urea and all those things, it can create issue. So Abhishek, you are absolutely correct. Our body is releasing urea, where ammonia is generated, no doubt, but it is actually converted into the urea by liver. Now, waste includes byproducts of metabolism. Some of the waste products that must be excreted from the body include carbon dioxide from cellular respiration, ammonia and urea from protein catabolism, uric acid from nucleic acid catabolism. So these are the things. Now you must be wondering, sir, carbon dioxide, is it waste? Yes, it is waste. So it is released out by what? It is actually released by lungs. In the similar manner, if I'll talk about sweat, it is released via skin. But this sweat includes what? It includes the salt, that is NaCl. So this is asked in the examination. What is present in the sweat? So there's NaCl. How sweat is actually taken out from the body? Obviously through the skin. So yes, these are the waste. So what are those important organs which are helping in its excretion? So here it can be skin, then it can be liver, it can be large intestine, it can be lungs, it can be kidneys. So these are the organs of the excretion. Now, one by one we'll be understanding about it. First of all, let's have a look at the skin. So this is the skin part. Topmost layer is what? Sweat is by skin. Abhishek, totally correct. So what we were discussing, if I talk about the skin part, the topmost layer is consisting of epidermis, then there is dermis, then there is subcutaneous tissue, then there are muscles. So if I talk about the skin, it is the part of integumentary system. Integumentary system, where you can even talk about other examples. I'll just write one more example, that is your nails. So nails are also the part of integumentary system. Now excretion through it is done in the form of what? In the form of sweat. And these are done by sweat glands which are there in the dermis part. This is the dermis location. So sweat gland is actually present over here. So it is done by the sweat gland. Now, if I talk about large intestine, do you know when we talk about our digestive system, in digestive system, digestion takes place in the small intestine, not in the large intestine. Large intestine only absorbs the water. Large intestine just absorbs the water, and yes, it is actually creating that waste into the solid form and then keeping in the rectum for a while and then releasing out through the anus. So here, large intestine eliminates solid waste and that remain after the digestion. It extracts the water from indigestible matter in the food waste. So please remember here, there is no such digestion taking place. It is just absorbing the water, and that solid waste which is there is actually excreted out, kept in the rectum for a while and excreted out through the anus. So yes, this is large intestine. If I talk about lungs, we know lungs are actually responsible for the excretion of gaseous waste from the body. Now there's a question for you all. Now there's a question. Let's see who will answer this. We're talking about gaseous waste, correct? So what is that particular gaseous waste? Who can answer this? Waiting, please. I'm talking about gaseous waste, true. So what is that particular gaseous waste? And this is the question which is asked in the examination. We have just discussed about this respiratory system. We are aware of these lungs, pleural membrane, diaphragm. We know this trachea, windpipe. We know all those things. But yeah, Abhishek, absolutely correct. It is carbon dioxide. So remember, this is the important one. This is the important one. Do not forget. Awesome. Now, if I talk about kidney, so kidney's basic unit is nephron. Nephron is actually playing a role of that structure which is actually used in the filtering of tea in the morning. It is what? When we are using that structure, we call it a chalni in Hindi, correct? So that filtration is done from that structure in the similar manner. So Amisha has joined us, and yes, Amisha, your carbon dioxide answer was correct. I guess your comments we are getting quite late. So can you just refresh it so that you can also come live? Yes, I was talking about kidney. So there's a basic unit that is known as nephron. There's a basic unit that is known as the nephron, and this nephron is actually acting like a filter which filters everything. And here, if I'll just have a look at this kidney, we have renal artery and renal vein over here. Again, I'll say, what is artery? Artery is the one which is carrying the deoxygenated blood. That is, the blood with the pure oxygen, oxygenated blood is carried by the artery. Vein is carrying deoxygenated blood, that is blood with the lesser amount of oxygen. So yes, here kidney is helping in the elimination of excess water and waste from the bloodstream. That is, we can say that blood's filtration is done by this part. In examination, if someone asks you, blood's filtration is done by what? Then heart is not going to be the correct answer. Blood's filtration is actually done by kidney, and where there are several nephrons, lakhs of nephrons which are actually helping in that. So byproduct of this process is liquid waste which is known as urine. Now if I talk about this urine, urine's color is yellow. We have discussed about that. This color actually tells about the different issue. This color is yellow because of presence of some, yeah, Abhishek, correct. So I was saying it is yellow because of the presence of something. What is that? It is urochrome. It is what? It is urochrome. Now you can relate it with the Google Chrome. You have seen the logo of Google Chrome, correct? If I talk about that Google Chrome, so it's quite like this. So in that Google Chrome, we have one yellow color, correct? So whenever there will be a question in the examination, you can directly link it from the Google Chrome. So that yellow structure is actually the, that particular urochrome is actually giving the yellow color to the urine. Yes. Now talking about the kidney structure, just have a look. This is the renal artery, this is the renal vein. Now these are cortical blood vessels. These pipe-like structure, thin pipe-like structure, these are the blood vessels. This is the ureter, this is the capsule part, this one is the medulla, major calyx, inside we have minor calyx. And the smallest part, there are several small nephrons. And yes, thank you Amisha for the same, thank you for the same. Yes, there are several small those structures are known as nephrons which are actually helping in the filtration. Now, kidney. Each kidney has nearly 1 million complex tubular structures called nephrons. And yes, if I talk about the two zones inside the kidney, so here it would be outer cortex and inner medulla. Now, let's have a look at the question. These are the questions from the previous year part. The functional unit of kidney is what? What is the functional unit of kidney? Is it iron, is it neuron, is it nephron, or is it artery? What is it? See, we are aware of these arteries. I've already told you, it carries oxygenated blood. If I talk about this neuron, neuron are what? These are those particular part in the nervous system which are having those electrochemical signals because of which connectivity is made, correct? Signals are sent, okay. So what's the issue here? This question is asked from the central nervous system, whether your brain or spinal cord. Again, message comes through it. So that is neuron. So here the correct answer is going to be on nephrons. Absolutely correct, Abhishek and Amisha. Absolutely correct. That is option number C. So option number C is going to be the correct answer. Next, which of the following is responsible for water balance in the human body? So if I talk about the water balancing, we have discussed a hormone. Remember? ADH, anti-diuretic hormone. So if I talk about this ADH, anti-diuretic hormone, this is actually helping in the water balancing. But we have not given any of the options. We are actually talking about that structure. So Abhishek is saying something. So neuron is in spinal cord. Yeah. Yeah, true. So whenever we talk about those nerve cells, they are present over there, because of which those signals are actually sent. So yes, if I'm talking about the water balance, that would be your kidney. True. Next, which of the following main excretory waste? Uric acid. Now, which of the following main excretory waste is uric acid? So we have discussed one thing. Amisha, correct. Abhishek, awesome. Now let's have a look at this answer. I was discussing about ammonia. If someone is releasing ammonia, we will say that that particular organism is what? It is I'll write again. It is ammonotelic. If someone is releasing urea, we say that it is ureotelic. If someone is releasing uric acid, we'll say that it is uricotelic. Now I'm writing one more thing before taking the answer from you all. So Abhishek has already given the answer sparrow. When we are talking about the urea, we remember we have discussed from our body urea is released, correct? That's why we are ureotelic. So we can talk about the example, that is humans. But if I talk about uric acid, these are those particular organisms which require very less amount of water. So here you can talk about birds. Now let's have a look. Can we relate our uric acid question with this option? Obviously. We were talking about birds. From this option, which is the bird? So here we have sparrow as the word. And yes, Abhishek, your answer is absolutely correct. So cool, Abhishek. That's good that you have given the correct answer. So here sparrow would be the correct answer. Next, during dehydration, what is deficient in the human body? We were discussing about waste, correct? There was a waste that was coming out from our skin, and we discussed over there, there is a sweat gland. There is a sweat gland which is helping in the generation of sweat. Now, when we are talking about this sweat, that means it must be including different things. So here, it is including what? It is including sodium chloride, that is our NaCl. We discussed about salt, right? Welcome, Abhishek, welcome. So yes, your answer is absolutely correct, Abhishek. The correct answer is going to be sodium chloride, that is your salt. I'll write here as well, salt. So option number B is correct over here. Next, medicine which increases the urine secretion. Is it adrenaline? Is it monouretic? Is it diuretic? Or is it triuretic? So this we have already discussed in one of the question and during the theoretical section also. So let's see who will answer this text assistant question. Medicine which increases the urine secretion. It is what? Is it adrenaline? Is it monouretic? Is it diuretic? Or is it triuretic? Medicine. From here, we are all obviously very clear. When we are talking about this adrenaline, this means this is 3F hormone. Remember, where F used to denote, one of the F was fear, one of them were fight, and one of them was flight. So fear, fight and flight, 3F hormone, that was your adrenaline. Now if I talk about these hormones, from here we get this diuretic. So yes, option number C, that is diuretic, will be the correct answer. Please remember that here diuretic is the correct answer. Next, which have valveless heart? Now, you must have listened about several things. You are heartless, heartless song, heartbreaker. But here we are talking about the heart which is actually not having any valve. First option is mammals. So can mammals be the answer? No. Why? Because if mammals would be the answer, we are amongst them, correct? So we are actually mammals, but our heart is actually 4-chambered. Right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, left ventricle. Because it is on the right side. Just have a look. My right hand side, right auricle. Left hand side, left auricle. Upper ones are auricle, lower ones are ventricles. So yes, this is the one for the mammals. Now if I'll talk about fish, absolutely correct Abhishek. Whenever we are talking about the fish, there are only two parts. There are only two chambers in the fish. I'm writing here. There are only two chambers. And those chambers are, this is auricle, this one is ventricle. Absolutely correct Amisha. Awesome. So yes, we have only two chambers. Now there is no such right-left concept. True. There is no such right-left concept, but there is the presence of auricle and ventricle. And hence we can say that here fish will be the correct answer because there is no such valve included. Since there is no valve, so we call it valveless. So option number C is correct. Next. The yellow color of urine is due to presence of what? Now this is from 10+2 LDC. Let's see who will give this answer. It's very simple. If I talk about this bile, it is generated by what? Liver. Correct? If I talk about this cholesterol, we are aware of, if there is high cholesterol, when I'm talking about the bad cholesterol, it will do what? It will lead to issues to the heart attacks. There will be the issue in the heart. Correct? Now, lymph, that particular fluid which is there in our body. Correct? If I talk about this urochrome, urochrome is the one which is giving color to the urine. So here, option number D will be correct. Absolutely correct, Abhishek. Totally correct. Urochrome is the one which is giving yellow color to the urine. So yes, option number D is correct. Next, which organ is the alternate term for the womb? Now, please remember the location from where we took birth. We can say that that was uterus, or we can say that that is womb. So uterus and womb are both one and the same thing. So here option number A would be correct. Next, the abnormal constituent of urine is what? So urine is consisting of several things. Now, the question is asked, which is the abnormal constituent of the urine? So what would be the answer? Any guesses? It's very obvious that urea would be the part of it. Correct? Then Abhishek, Amisha, waiting for the answer. No one? So see, if I talk about the urea, it's very obvious that urea is going to be its part. Fine. Now, if I talk about this sodium, again, the same thing. If I talk about this albumin, let me tell you, when we are talking about that egg structure, the vital layer is actually what? That is albumin. That is protein actually. We have discussed about it in the blood also. And the inside part is egg yolk. Correct? So this we have discussed in the blood part, and hence this is the only one which we are not going to get it in the urine part. So yes, it was Amisha, I am getting your comments quite late, but your answer was correct over there. Amisha, can you please refresh it, because we have last question over here. We'll be discussing that and then we'll be meeting tomorrow morning at 12. So yes, option number C is the correct answer. In the process of dialysis used on the patients which are affected with the kidney issues, the phenomena involved is what? Is it diffusion? Is it absorption? Is it osmosis? Or is it electrophoresis? So till you all are giving me the answer, till then let me tell you the process of dialysis. What happens? Normally our kidney actually filters the blood. It keeps on filtering the blood. But in the case of dialysis, when kidney is not working, artificial means are used in order to that filter out those particular your blood, or I'll say in short, purify your blood. In this condition, there must be a process which which might be used, correct? So here in this condition, there's the osmosis process which is being used. So if I'll talk about this process, so option number C is correct. And one more thing is there, I don't know you are aware of that or not. When this is done, at that time heparin is given. Why heparin is given? Because heparin has the quality because of which blood doesn't clot. We have that heparin in our body, correct? Because of which blood doesn't clot within our body. Here also heparin is given so that when this dialysis is done, when this purification of blood is done, that blood clot doesn't occur. So yes, option number C is absolutely correct. So this question was from Ssc Cgl 2005. All these were the previous year questions. Many of them were asked in the CGL. I have not written with all the questions, but they were previously asked. They are very important. They may again and again asked. So please have a look at these questions. And tomorrow morning there would be last lecture of the bio, because from the obviously on Saturday we are going to have the marathon session. From Monday we will be continuing either with the physics or chemistry. So I want the answer from you all. What do you want? In the comment section you can tell me. From Monday you want physics or chemistry so that we can start with another subject. We will be completing bio tomorrow. We will be discussing human skeleton and muscular system tomorrow. In the morning we will be discussing all the previous year questions of different SSC examinations, and for the theoretical part we will be coming in the evening, that is 6 to 7. So meet you all tomorrow between 12 to 1 with the previous year questions of different SSC examinations. It was good that I have seen Abhishek after a long time and Amisha after a long time. So it was a great pleasure that you were here in the class. Apart from that, all the candidates, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. Meet you tomorrow between 12 to 1. And yes, do not forget to download the Exampur application because it is having all those features which you actually want for your examination. So bye-bye everyone. Please take care.